is what your carpet should look like after it's done. Look here, there's a little, I got just a little bit off right here, but I'm going to show you guys how to fix that later on in the video, and how to get it a little bit, you know, to get this that close, which is really close. That thing's really hard to get the measurement on. How to get the measurement right here. Still have to put the e-brake boot on it, so I don't have everything completely glued in. Well, let's just take a look at that. See how it looks. Alright, real quick, on both sides, hang on. Alright, so this is what it should look like when you're done. I'm going to go over some of the stuff in just a second, so you can see how you can make it look like this. I figured I'll show you guys real quick. I got this TMI carpet kit. They're okay, I mean, they work, but I like to do my own usually. But on this bug, I really wanted to have the sewn edge around the front. And I didn't really want to use my sewing machine because it's not set up. I have a rig. There's a jig you get for your commercial sewing machine to put an edge on it, not like this, but more like the original edge that had that nice finish. But I was looking for something else on the internet, and I was looking for a carpets kit, and I came up with this at a huge discounted price. So I just went, why not? I'll just get this TMI carpet kit. But those of you guys who are putting these in, maybe that might be the thing for you. Maybe you're trying to figure it out. I'm going to kind of go over a couple pointers on how to do this and make sure that you get everything cut in the right place. And you foam it up right, because you really need to kind of just try stuff and then lay it in and then check it. So if you want your stuff to come out like this, I mean, if you can see, that's pretty clean. I haven't finished the other side obviously yet, and how this looks, but you notice there's a big gap here, small no gap there. That's TMI stuff. It's gonna not fit too well, so you're gonna have some of those type of things. You know, I mean, you got to think about it when they're just going off a pattern and they're not making it for each individual car. You know, the patterns can get off, or the person doing it might be a little off, and you're gonna have some variations. So you expect that when you get any of the TMI stuff. I mean, it's not bad for, you know, for the DIY guy who doesn't have a carpet, you know, anything to make do his own upholstery, but compared to a regular upholstery shop, it's not the same. I mean, you know, they're obviously a lot more expensive too, so keep that in mind. Especially lately, I've been going to upholstery shops, and it's like, holy crap, I mean, how much? 10 grand? You know, it's more than auto painting, I think. So anyway, it is time consuming, I understand, so, but you know, it is kind of really overpriced, I think. I mean, I think you could make way more money as a upholsterer today than you could as a auto painter. But anyway, here's one of the things I do. Is what you want to do is you really want one of these crayons like this. I get these at Harbor Freight Tools. It's better if you have a chalk for some things, but for this a crayon is appropriate. It works fine because you're going to be marking the back of your carpet. And what you want to do with this piece right here is fold it in half. Well, first thing you want to do is you want to lay it into the car after you put in your foam or your carpet padding. I use this really high grade carpet padding. It's like a mix of nylon and cotton type of stuff. It's really nice. It's plush feeling, and it cuts pretty easily with some good scissors. Another thing I was going to tell you is make sure you get these are Weiss scissors. These are, you know, really expensive, $40 scissors. You know, people go, oh, you don't really need that. Well, I don't know. You really need a good pair of scissors. It does help to have a good pair of scissors because you're going to be doing some cutting on your foam. I highly suggest foaming or padding this area of your floor, and foregoing using the original type of whatever it is, tar mat, and just doing the foam, because it actually absorbs the heat, and it also gives you a little more plush feel on your feet, and still does the noise thing. Gets rid of the road noise really well. I think it might do a better job than that. But carpet pad everything out. You don't need it. You know, you should cut your carpet padding you know, pretty good to the corners. You know, just lay it in there, flip it back and cut it. It doesn't need to be as perfect as regular carpet, but it needs to be pretty good to the corners. And what that does is that will bring it up. So like this car has aftermarket heater channels, so like right here there was a square box. I took some carpet padding and I'll fill in that area to make it look good. You know, there's a bump, weird bump right here. Kind of fill that area in and foam it down real tight so it looks nice like that side, uniform. And then, you know, after you've got it padded, so you should pad this area of your carpet, and you know, back, you don't want it to be past your little bend tab here. Really, you're going to be like, I have to cut this back a little bit because it's going to be a little bit of a problem, maybe, because I'm not sure. I'm going to wait till I start putting the bar in for the seat and the two pieces that go back there, because I want them to be that way. I want them to be there, the original ones I have. So I got right here, this one's made up for the other side. I'll show you how this goes in. Right, so you can see that this fits pretty well into this area right here. It needs to fit pretty tight, because what I'm going to do is this is going to help build up the floor a little bit, so that when you put this piece in, it'll look really like that side does, where it's nice and tight and right to the seam. So you need to put a piece of padding in that fills in this area right here, lay it out and get it in there, and I'll show you what that looks like. So like I said, it doesn't need to be perfect, but if it kind of fills in this little bit, it helps to make it and gets your better in it. This part makes your area a little bit quieter, so it's hardly any road noise. You always glue both sides of everything. Just put a light amount of glue, doesn't need a lot of glue. This carpet, actually, I got some other TMI stuff and it was wax back for a Mustang, and I was like, oh my god, I couldn't even, this glue wouldn't stick to it or anything. But I still need to put the boot on here, so I'm not concerned with it being down really tight right now, and because I'm going to slide that boot up. I don't know if I'm going to slide it up in the front, but I'm going to tell you real quick how that you get the e-brake in the right place. So when you've got this all padded out, I just, you know, laid it out, padded it. I didn't have to pad it, I can just check it to see where it was going to lie. What I did is I figured out where it was going to set here, did a trial fit, okay, where it was going to set right here in the front, lined it up here as best as it would be lined up, because I wanted to know if, you know, if I was going to want to pad this. So I wanted to pad that. You see how it looks now with the padding in there, kind of down into that groove just right. If it doesn't have the padding, it's too low and it just looks, it ends up going back a little bit too far, because that padding being up a little bit higher kind of brings everything over. But to get this e-brake in the right place, back to that again, what you want to do is, you know, lay it in there to where these are up to the front, okay, where they're supposed to be. All right. Again, there, you notice they're not real tight on their cutting and everything here, so expect it not to fit quite right as far as that goes. And then what you do is flip this part back, okay, and then mark with your pencil, your thing, the center of where this is. You don't worry about exactly where, if it's in the center or not, because you might not be centered, okay, because you're going to put the thing on first over the e-brake and then down the side. So what you do is you center it here, find out where, you know, the distance is from here to there exactly, but I do it by just flipping it back and marking it. Then what I'll do is I'll fold this piece in half. I'll take this piece, I'll fold it corner to corner, and then I'll mark a center mark, and that marks from right here. Then what I'll do is I also, well, then I'll take the piece out and I'll fold it inside out, and I'll show where this is and where that is, you know, measure it up, just hold it right next to it, or you can measure it if you want. I don't usually use a tape measure, and I'll measure from here to here by just holding it up there, and I'll mark the other side of this, and then I'll take my line and I'll put a line through it, and then you can actually just cut a straight line if you're afraid to cut the box. I just cut the box by turning it inside out and just cutting a 1/2 inch up and over back, and then this is about 1 inch. So I just kind of eyed it, and look at it, came out really nice and clean. So anyway, I'll glue that in, make it look really good once I get done. But that's how you measure where the e-brake is. Now the difficulty is where those are, because nothing's centered. Keep that in mind. If you look at the shifters, a little bit defined to the left, and this thing's defined to the right. So it's a little more difficult, but you do the same type of a thing by laying it out, figure out where they're going to set, fold it over backwards, marking it, and then figuring out where the circle should be. Because, like, I'll kind of give you an idea, see if I can lay it out for you real quick. I just didn't want to forget to say this. It's good to have one of these or a putty knife to tuck in all of this part onto these, and also use to bend up these things here, because something really wide keeps it from getting bent down. And then I use a Bondo spreader and lay it on top of here, and a plastic hammer to knock this back down, so that you know damage as it comes out real nice and straight. There you go, plastic hammer, Bondo spreader. So what I'll do is I'll fold it back like this. I'll lay everything out in place in the front. A lot of times I'll even kind of glue it a little bit so it stays in place where I want it to be. Then I'll go ahead and mark here. I'm just gonna, let me get it a little bit more situated. Alright, so it's folded over here like this all the way across. And what you'll do is you'll take your marker right here, this fella, and you'll go ahead, and you know that this is the front of the shifter. And then what I do is I'll actually draw a circle where I kind of think it's going to be something like this. So you can draw it just a little bit smaller than what you need, and so that when I flip this over, I cut this circle out right here, flip that over, it's going to go in. So there's a two-part process. So if you see that this ends up fitting right, it should, because I've got everything lined up in the front. You know, it's pretty well lined up. Again, it doesn't seem to fit the best. I do my other ones when I make my own carpet. It's a little easier because I'm not dealing with somebody else's cuts. But I'll do something like that, line it up. I might even cross it out right now and move it a little bit as I find the right place. Now, sometimes it's easier to glue in the front so that it's all in place where you want it to be, and then do it this way. And then you'll pull it all out again, and then you'll put it over the shifter, okay? And then you'll do the same thing for this. So you have to mark it on the front and draw a circle backwards, and then put it back on, and then just kind of work it over this knob and put it in place. So yeah, that's basically how you do it. This part up here is pretty self-explanatory. Remember, if you see, this is laid on top, this section, so these sections are put on first. These sections are put on before this section. If you see right here, I've cut just the inner part of this. I don't cut way out here, just the inner part for the heater areas. And if you see, main thing I just wanted when I put this in there is I just wanted the sewn edge. I didn't really want to, and it was so cheap that I just didn't pass it up. So I was like, all right, I'll put it in, put a TMI one in. Normally, like I said, I have other videos on how to build your own carpet kit. And if this wasn't a early rag that's, you know, early 60s, 1960, so if it was an early car, I would probably would have made my own carpet kit, but I really wanted the sewn edge because I'm going to put the original, I have not reproduction, I have original floor mats that are going in here over the carpet, so it's kind of cool. That's why I wanted the sewn edge, because that's all we were going to see. In fact, I might even end up cutting that part out and putting in the original piece that goes back behind the pedals. So those are all things that I'm working on right now. So anyway, I don't know yet, but I'm just trying to show you guys that are buying a TMI carpet kit how to do your own, and a couple little pointers on how to do it. Talk to you next video. Please like, share, and subscribe.